So after being in the barbering space for 16 years, this year, the 9th year of my education role, I think it's safe to say that I'm not just a barber. And it was something that I had a really hard time committing to, because as we all get into this journey, any creative journey, you choose that one thing that helps you create an identity. When it came to barbering was one of my first passions. It was one of the things that kept my interest from the beginning, even without knowing what it would turn into. It was the first skill set that I built a passion around, to give me purpose, to give me something to look forward to and build within my community. I think as creatives, we are constantly trying to find a space that we can connect to, people that are like us, people that understand us, because generally, a lot of the times when we go back to our local friend circles, family circles, they don't always understand the path that you're on. So when I got into the barbering community, it was one of the first places where I felt so connected and part of something. But there is something that we do that doesn't help us later down the road, and that's boxing ourselves in to that one identity. It's really a mindset shift that allowed me to look outside that box and realize that I shouldn't be confined to just one thing. It almost felt like I was doing something bad by taking a day off just so I can learn more about video creation. And it's a weird guilt that you put yourself through, because in the time of that one journey that really helped you create an identity, you've given the time, the commitment, dedication for years, rebuilding relationships with customers in your local community. Even when I was fully booked, there was just something about that schedule that felt a little too mundane for me. And it's not in a bad way, because I think it's going to be different for every single person. But there was something more that I felt like I wanted to explore and try. It's one of the scariest things to do, because people are not going to understand it. People will try to convince you to not make that choice, but the only thing that's guiding you is that internal feeling that you feel in your gut. I just knew that I didn't want to wake up and hate what I was doing. I love the art of barbering. I love being able to service people, to be able to look at something, sculpt a shape out of hair that fits that person particularly, seeing that smile on their face, that is something that I will never take for granted. But I just know deep down as a creative, I'm meant to do something more. There is more in this journey that I feel like I can give beyond just cutting somebody's hair. I want to be able to reach more people, to help them see things in a different way, the same way that I was given those perspectives that helped me change the course of my journey. The mindset that helped me shift out of this old traditional way of thinking and adding something else to power the two lanes was content creation, video production, videography, photography. As I built my barbering brand, I built my platform, I built my reputation online, that when I added the video aspect to it, it helped power the barbering side. And as I'm continuing on in this world, barbering also powers that, because now I get to shoot video production for a barbering topic. Now that gives us an edge. It's the same thing as if like a barber that knows how to work shears and clippers. You are generally more of that hybrid feature, and you're able to cater to much more. You open the variety of opportunities that can come in your way. And this all stems from following that gut instinct inside, knowing that I want to take better pictures of my work. I want to take better videos of my work. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take a little bit of time off, because you have to sacrifice something to gain another. I'm going to cut a couple days out of my barbering schedule so that I can cater and start building in this area. This was just something I wanted to improve, because I wanted my work to look better online. That portfolio work was something that I wanted to improve, which allowed me to get into this content creation world of just, how do I make this better? How do I build this skill so my barbering side could look better online? Now with building those two skills, I have opportunities that can open continuously in barbering, but also continuously in content creation, because content creation is more diverse. It's not specific to one lane. How I was able to build it here has allowed me to build it in this space, and then also into different lanes of work. So do I think multi-lane barbers exist? There are far more multi-lane barbers today than there ever has before, and it's in different categories. And that is the one beautiful blessing I love about this space, is that barbering has been such a vehicle to kind of lead into these different lanes. First by doing, and then by teaching. And it's allowed me to have a schedule that I've dreamed of having. What I love most about this space is that you're able to take all of these skills that you've built over time, especially if you love what you do, because you're willing to go that much more, is building all of those things helps you diversify your time to where you're not locked down to one lane anymore. You have to have the freedom to be flexible. That's the only way my schedule works. And that was one of the first shifts I had to do when I first got out of the barbering space. I couldn't work for somebody anymore just because the demand of my schedule required for me to be more flexible. So that allowed me to really open up my space to have different things on my calendar from day to day, month to month, year by year. It was one of the hardest things to grasp because I felt really guilty at one point of feeling like I needed to cater to this, but will they understand that I have a creative purpose that I'm also going after aside of being able to cut hair for the community. And so this is a message to any barber that feels that type of gut feeling that I felt. If you feel like you need to do more, that is really okay, because it's not for everybody. And I'm telling you, if you follow those interests and you know it's something that means a lot to you because you just find yourself looking it up, researching, doing it for yourself, doing it for other people, that is a sign that that's something you need to explore. And while I've learned so much in both lanes, content production is something I truly enjoy, being able to work with so many different creatives, different teams on different projects. As a creative, you're a problem solver, you're an educator in your own space, and you deserve to build a life that you don't need a break from. It's been 9 years of being in the education space. This is presentation skills, this is talking to a group of more than 4 people. This is the first time stepping on a stage. Everything to do with breaking my fear of public speaking. A lot of people don't know me prior to my hair life, but if they did, they would know I'm 2 different people. Something I've also realized is the more you learn, the more you know how much you don't know. And the obsession to learn and understand becomes something that I'm very critical about. I love learning because it changes the way my brain thinks. It allows me to see a new perspective that I could apply to myself, that allow me to grow. I don't want to repeat the same things that happen over and over again. I want new experiences to help shape my life, to help shape my mind, to believing that I can accomplish more. So learning for me is something that's endless. It's something that I won't stop. I research every single day on a topic that I know and topics that I don't know. And through every single lesson, I take notes, I apply them right away, because it's really easy for us to get into a cycle where we're just consuming more than we're doing. So I make it a good practice to apply myself right away. So if that means I'm gonna read that book 10 times slower than most people, then so be it, because that's the only way that I can understand the process versus just consuming all of the knowledge. The goal is to understand, not to collect knowledge. So in my big learning phase, heavily in the education space, over 22 countries to teach. I've been on some of the biggest stages teaching hair, which is something I never thought I could do. One of my first presentations I gave at a school, and I bombed it so hard. Just remembering that I could feel my throat start cracking to the point where I just literally want to bawl and start crying, just out of maybe anxiety and also frustration of not knowing what to say or saying something wrong. I mean, at this phase, there was so much doubt, so much noise in my brain that I just couldn't even get the words out correctly. And I remember hating it so bad, I didn't do another public speaking presentation for at least another 1.5 years. But what I did do that allowed me to learn, I didn't even think about the correlation, but content creation, talking on camera, doing voiceovers, and then editing my voice, editing how I look, editing the way my voice sounds when I'm doing my videos. It allowed me to edit my words in person the next time I did that education segment. Every time I do one, I learn a little bit more. Every time I talk to people, I learn about more topics that I can hit that kind of help other people dive in more. Maybe I can go deeper on this type of topic. Maybe I can hit a little bit more surface level on these more complex ones. But you learn so much by obviously the repetition, doing it in person over and over again, but also while I'm not traveling, I was doing it in content format, which allowed me to build my language online, build my structure, build that if I want to talk about this topic, I know I can hit these points because I've already done it before. So I'm building these Rolodexes of different topics within my brain based on certain keywords that I know I can help people depending on what level they are. Because at first, when you start stepping on a stage and you start talking to people, you're so broad because you don't know what levels people are. And over the years, you start to develop, okay, I'm gonna give a little bit of this for the beginners, a little for the intermediate, and a little bit for advanced. Unless it was more of an intimate style setting, then you know how you can dive in a little bit more on that type of group. So even through the education space of being able to travel, do it and have translators, which also add another level of difficulty for us because now we have to cut it in less time, slow it down, give things in a more concise way. There are so many things in public speaking and teaching that have taught me so much. And while I'm in between those traveling and I'm at home and I'm doing all my content creation, I'm still giving myself the space to get better, even online, as I'm editing my voice, as I'm talking, as I'm going through different lessons, that I'm able to still adjust and edit as I go. And through that, because one of the things that I believe is that your voice is the thing that people can't copy. Your voice is the thing that's gonna make you stand out because only you think about the things the way that you do. You can put 3 of us in a room looking at one topic. We're all gonna translate that 3 different ways, depending on our history, depending on our personal experiences and what we're seeing in front of us, how we're taking all of that information, putting it through our mindset, and then being able to put that out is gonna look very different for everyone. But what is really the thing that separates us? It's gonna be you, it's gonna be your voice, it's gonna be your story and how you perceive all the things that are happening around you. How you take that info and put it out is gonna help a lane of people that resonate with you. Just like in the barbering space, not every single person is your person. And we have to remember that because this is an area that I also made a mistake in at some point as well, is thinking that what you have is gonna cater to every single person. But the more you do it, just like building a clientele in the barbershop space, at some point you want to cater to everyone, right? In the beginning, you're taking everybody, you're taking all styles, all kids, all everything because you want to learn. And then as you keep going on, you develop a specialty in what lane that would be. And then you give your all to that one, and then you attract that type of clientele to come to you. So I guess it all comes back to that if you only see yourself as one thing, let that be for a short period of time. Maybe you're in the learning phase and that's where you have to be. But as you start to develop more angles of who you are and what you like to do, lean into those feelings. You are here to create. You are here to make a difference, to impact your community in the ways that you want. And that's only gonna happen naturally by just following the things that you love doing. The things you're passionate about are there for a reason because those things that you are connected to is your calling. All in all, when it comes to today, the type of jobs that I do is barber, educator, content creator, videographer, photographer, filmmaker, social media manager, social media coordinator, social media copywriter, content strategist, video editor, brand creator, and even down to a content researcher. But if somebody were to ask me, what do you do? I would still say I'm a barber. But I want to be better this time to expand the idea of what I actually do. Because before, it was out of fear of feeling like people weren't going to relate to me, or I was nervous to change my identity after I've been working on this lane for so many years and built kind of like a guilt around it, or just finally learning how to own my process, to own my journey as a creative. Your community will be built on people that relate to you. Not everybody will understand it. If you are a barber that's only working in the barbering space, you might not connect to me. But if you're a barber and you're a creative and you do all these XYZ type of things, you might be able to relate to me. So for this new journey that I'm on, I want to be better at owning up to what I actually do. This is a personal journey for me, and I'm going to explore a lot more things for you guys to see the behind the scenes. So please subscribe so that you can follow on that journey. This is the start of something new.